Lucky, when people hear Hell's Angels, what do they get completely wrong?
It's what they see on the media when they hear Hell's Angels. It's what they see on the media and hear on the media. It's not like, or what they hear on the movies, and they don't understand that Hell's Angels is not a part of a gangster thing. It's a barking thing. It's a barking culture, you know. And there's two different things. People hear of or see movies and they think Hell's Angels, and they get the whole thing wrong about the club. They're more of barkers than gangsters, you know.
So when did it actually start? What was the main reason behind the club starting?
Well, the club started many years ago. It started after the Second World War, you know, when there was no war, and these guys wanted to ride and be a part of a family thing, because there was no jobs those days and all that kind of stuff, you know. So the fighter planes are called Hell's Angels.
And this was guys who wanted to do their own thing.
Well, it started all in California many years ago.
How different was tattooing compared when you started to how it is now?
Well, the tattooing industry from those days to now is a big difference, a lot of changes. In those days, it was mostly old school type of tattoos. Today, it's so advanced that you can't keep up. And only the top guys can survive in this game. You know, you'll always get scratches, people tattooing just to make a buck or whatever the case is. But only the guys that are really good at the industry will survive. We try to stop all that when we started tattooing, from guys not sterilizing, tattooing, opening shops and all that kind of stuff, you know.
And how would you stop the people from doing that?
Well, because they weren't sterilizing and they didn't do apprenticeships and all this kind of thing, so we were putting pressure on them to close down. So what the actual thing was, the reason we did that is so tattooing doesn't get a bad name and people get sick, and then we end up getting closed down. For us to learn how to tattoo, we learned the hard way. We had to do our own flashes. We had to go overseas and learn from other tattoo artists and bring it back to the country.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I mean, it was actually doing a good thing if you think about it, and not just people popping up everywhere tattooing.
Well, this is it, you know. We're very strict about it. We didn't mess around. If people wanted to follow and do an apprenticeship, we'd be out there helping. If not, we used to put pressure and close them down, and that's how it was.
And back then, was tattooing more of a lifestyle?
It had nothing to do with the Hells Angels, us closing tattoo shops down. You know, we did it, in other words, ourselves.
Yeah. And back then, was tattooing more of a lifestyle than a job?
Well, I wouldn't say it was. Everybody, all the young people wanted tattoos. You know, we're very busy, and we used to do old school tattoos. It wasn't kind of thing of just making a quick buck. It was a part of wanting to, it was in our blood, you know, to be an artist, you know, to tattoo. You know, we enjoyed that kind of thing. It wasn't a criminal organization kind of thing, you know.
Yeah, and what opportunities was there for artists just starting out in the tattooing? I mean, especially in South Africa. Where did you guys learn from?
Well, we used to go to the States. Kevin Brown, he did his apprenticeship in Glasgow, Scotland. And I learned a lot of stuff from Kevin. And the rest of the time, we used to travel a lot. We used to go to the United States, you know. and learn from people in the United States and go to conventions and that. And that's how we took off, you know. In South Africa there was a guy in Joburg, his name was Alain. He was a French guy, a Swiss. And in Durban there was an Indian guy called Harry, okay? And he was a dirty guy. He had one needle, one machine, and one rag, and he used to tattoo all the sailors. So when we saw all that, we thought we can do better than that, you know. We started introducing sterilization and all this kind of thing. So Harry didn't last long, and we took over kind of thing. And the first shop we opened was John Milner Road. And across the road there was a sailors club. And just further down there was a whorehouse kind of thing. So that fitted all in that kind of game, you know. And it was great fun working there.
Yeah.
All the years.
Can imagine.
Yeah. We tattooed a lot of sailors at the time. And we used to open the shop at 10 o'clock and work right up to 9, 10 at night, you know.
Now with the club life, what drew you into that life?
The club didn't influence me or wasn't part of the tattooing thing that we did. The tattooing was our job, okay. And we joined the club was, well, Kevin joined first. And then he approached me to join the club, and I said to him, what the hell do I want to do, join the club for, you know? Why do I want to be a Hell's Angel? So he said, look, you got to look at the bigger picture. You know, you got brothers all over the world and all that kind of thing. So it took time for me to think about joining the club. But I rode bikes from the age of 14. After getting introduced to some of the guys, some of the members and all that, and taking a trip overseas and meeting Hell's Angels overseas, then I thought, man, I could enjoy this kind of lifestyle, you know. So my first trip was in Amsterdam, and I met the Hell's Angels in Amsterdam, and I thought, hey, these are great guys, you know. And when I came back, I said, okay, I'll start hanging around, you know, with a club. But first I had to have a Harley, you know. They came with a thing that, the rule that everyone must have a Harley if you want to ride, and you got to know how to ride, obviously. So that's how it all started.
And how old were you then when you joined?
The first time I joined the club, I socialized, hung around, been a prospect, and it was about 4 years. And then something happened, and I decided to walk away from the club. And then 10 years later, I said to this friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, his name is Kevin Brown. I said to him, hey, come, let's do it one more time. He said, now what do I want to do that for? I said, come on, let's do it. It's fun. Let's do it one more time. So we joined again. He was out in good standing. I was out in good standing. And we kicked another 10 years. And he's still in the club. And after 10 years, I thought to myself, I'm done. I've had enough, you know. It's time for me to walk, you know. I still got friends in the Hells Angels, and there's no bad vibes or anything like that, you know.
And what did brotherhood mean to you back then?
Well, a lot of people join the club for a lot of different reasons. Some people join the club for just to be part of a family thing or barking thing, or like you know. And some people join the club for to feel, in other words, to be somebody, you know. And I've always used to say to the guys, be yourself, you know. Don't try and change, because sometimes they join the club and they're good guys, and then they get patched, and then they become someone you don't know, you know. And the other thing is this: people got the wrong impression about Hells Angels. Not every Hells Angel is a criminal. You get bad elements in everywhere, you know.
True, yeah.
But not every Hells Angel is a criminal. It's supposed to be, which is, a barking club. And people take it the wrong way. They think Hells Angels are all criminals, they're gangsters. We're not all gangsters, you know. It's a kind of lifestyle that you want to lead, that there's supposed to be brotherhood, and there is brotherhood, and, you know, you'll find some people that you don't get on with, you know, but you still greet them because they're wearing the patch, you know. But you don't have to mix with that kind of person, you know. But you just have the respect of greeting the person, he'll greet you back, or vice versa.
And as president, what pressure did you carry on you personally?
As president, you got to get voted in as a president, okay? That's to lead the club, okay? If in the club there's a voting system, okay? You can't just become a president. Everybody's got to vote at the table. Everything is done at the table, okay? About a president, a sergeant, secretary, vice president, and so forth. You're responsible for the charter, you know. As a president, they got to look up to you. And that's how it is. And if you feel you're not doing a good enough job, then it's time for you to step down and let someone else take over the range, you know, that kind of thing.
And what do you feel that life gave you that normal life couldn't?
Well, that kind of lifestyle was more of a rebellious lifestyle, of fun, having fun and doing crazy stuff or whatever, but it's not like a normal kind of lifestyle. You have to be, first you got to be a barker, and then you have to be a kind of person that you're not a normal kid, you know. You're not, you're more of an adventurous kid, you know, by growing up, as you're growing up kind of thing. Yeah, you like all that kind of action, you know.
Yeah.
Riding bikes, being with friends, having a good time and all that.
And what did it take away from you over time?
It didn't take much away from me at all. It just made me a better person. I think better, and I get to know. It opened my eyes to a lot of things, you know.
Was there a moment you knew you would move on?
Plenty times, you know. A lot of things I disagree with, and a lot of things I agreed with, you know. You get to the times you get to meet some good people, and that you want to stick with, and there comes a time where you say to yourself, look, personal friends and family matters, you know, to me more. And I've got the opportunity now to be with good friends that are ex-members and friends that aren't part of the club that I can still be with and hang around with and that kind of thing, you know.
Now, you know, going back to the tattooing, was there like a unspoken code between artists?
Look, the tattooing game, the way I look at it, when you say unspoken code, I look at it is like there was a lot of fighting and backbiting and tattooing thing, you know. When you say unspoken code, what do you mean by unspoken?
Is there certain rules to for artists to know? There's certain lines you don't cross, which you don't. It's
well, there
it's
is,
self-spoken,
yeah,
you know?
definitely there is, you know. It's happened many times where if I've got a shop now, for instance, and someone opens a shop around the corner from me, you know. So what actually happens is I'm going to go and approach that person. I'm going to tell him to close the shop down. You know, you got to have some kind of a respect.
Or they have to pay, maybe.
If you, no, if if you have to pay, okay, a certain amount of money or something small to open a business, I'd call it intimidating. So we try to keep out of intimidating. You know, we just tell the person to close shop. You know, go and open another area, have some respect kind of thing, you know. And
So
make sure, obviously, that this guy is a tattoo artist, you know.
Yeah. So the tattooing was very territorial back then.
Very territorial, you know. I must admit, I put a lot of pressure on a lot of tattoos, you know.
Yeah.
And that is because a lot of the guys didn't know how to tattoo. They're trying to make a quick buck. And they weren't sterilizing at the time. And we had to draw a line, you know. You want a tattoo, fine, do an apprenticeship in tattoo, you know. But don't go and open a shop and get some flash and stick them on a wall and start tattooing people and you don't know what you're doing, you know.
Yeah.
And then someone gets sick. There was hepatitis, AIDS and all that.
Yeah. And I mean, you and Kevin Brown were one of the first guys tattooing there in South Africa, right? Obviously with Adams as well. He was
Adams from Cape Town. He was Cape Town. Everybody knew Adams from Cape Town. They had a good name, although they weren't very hygiene, I must admit, but nobody got sick. In Durban there was this guy, this Indian guy, Harry. He was the dirtiest guy I've ever seen, you know. I mean, one dirty cloth wiping everybody's arm like that, and with the same cloth. And
no gloves. You guys didn't
no
wear gloves back then.
one bottle of ink, you know, and the guys were lining up just
Same
for
needle.
the tattoo. Same needle.
Damn,
you
that's
know.
rough.
So
Was this before AIDS?
this was before AIDS.
Yeah.
We never even, when we started tattooing, we never used to have gloves because we didn't know about AIDS. When AIDS came out, I stopped tattooing for like 6 months, man. You know, I was like paranoid in case, you know, you prick yourself or you touch blood or anything when you clean your tubes and all that. You know?
Because you're not clear how easy transmissible this disease
We weren't
is. So
sure
you're all
what's going
paranoid.
on. I was paranoid.
It's a bit like COVID. People were washing their groceries off, you know, from the shop.
To be honest, worse than COVID because when you hear people were dying of AIDS, and it's to do with blood, you know, or even sharing a glass of water, you know, with somebody or whatever. You just don't want to do that because we didn't know anything about AIDS, you know. So then we even put more pressure on the guys that were tattooing on the sideline and all that, you know.
Yeah.
As I said, I stopped for like 6 months. I was so paranoid.
Yeah. So how did artists actually earn their place in a certain area?
They didn't earn the same a certain area. We just, if you worked away from our area, we didn't care about it, you know. But if you came into our area, then we would definitely put pressure on you, you know. But in a nice way.
Yeah.
In a nice way.
And then, how did you make your tattoo needles? Can you explain the process, how that worked?
Okay. We used to work hours. We had jigs that we bought from the States, and we used to buy loose needles. We used to get 1,000 needles in a packet, so we used to buy boxes of that, and we used to sit for hours making needles, and then soldering them onto the bar, you know. And we used to make 3s, 7s, 5s, 9s, you know, 15s,
Wow.
you know, and get them ready for the following week kind of thing, you know.
Yeah, artists today will never
We never used
realize
to,
how lucky they are.
at the beginning, we never even had the opportunity of buying flashes. We had to draw our own flashes and stick them on a wall, you know.
Wow.
The country was not recession, but nobody would import stuff or sell us stuff. So the only opportunity we had is by going overseas, buying stuff, bringing it back. You know, going to conventions, buying flashes, bringing it back, and work from there.
And who had the best flash back in the day that everybody wanted? Who was the hot one?
What's that?
The flash designs.
Oh, the flash.
Who was like
Man,
the
I
top?
don't know. We used to buy from everybody. There wasn't something like a best person or whatever.
Right.
But we used to go to a convention and we see flash that we like that would sell, and we'd bring it back, you know.
Wow.
We used to buy from everybody.
And it's
Any
hand
flash that we
drawn.
thought, especially, you know, we brought that Hispanic stuff, flashes that people like in South Africa, you know, and that went down very well amongst the young kids, you know.
And do you think that era produced tougher or better artists?
Some guys that worked for us really became good. And a good opportunity is that I had the privilege working with you, Dean, you know. And then we got my son Jake. He's in New Zealand, he's tattooing, I taught him, he's doing well. And then I had another apprentice, Keegan, which he's doing all right. You know, he started from scratch, working in a shop, and he's doing all right. So the guys that worked with me, they became really good. In this game, only the professionals will survive, only the top guys, you know.
Yeah, I have to add, you know, I think I was 22 or 23 at the time, and I was fortunate enough to get an opportunity by Kevin Brown and yourself to work with you guys.
Yeah.
So I was already tattooing 2 years, but I was a bit lost, had bad habits, and because I was kind of self-taught, so working with you guys taught me a lot. Plus the old school mentality.
Well,
and
I'm glad
really,
you came. I'm glad
really
you
grateful for that, you know.
But I'm glad you came to work with us, you know.
Yeah,
Otherwise, I wouldn't have met you.
yeah.
I mean, I've got all your tattoos on my legs, you know.
Yeah, it's great looking back at it, honestly.
Yeah. And it's good to see you after all these years, Dean.
Yeah.
You know, and how you improved and the work you do, it's unbelievable, man. Unbelievable,
Appreciate it.
you know.
You were traveling a lot back in the day, so how was the conventions like compared to now?
Well, I haven't been to convention in years. The last convention I think we went to was in San Francisco, and that's many years ago. The times that we used to go to the States, mostly to go and tattoo in the States. We used to go and tattoo at Honest Charlie's Tattoo in Texas, San Antonio. And that even pushed us further into the business, you know. But after a while, we weren't interested in conventions. We wanted to just get to know people, get to know other tattooists and that kind of thing, you know, and to tattoo overseas. And while we were there, we were having fun, you know.
And what's been lost in tattooing today?
You know, I'm gonna be honest with you, you'll never get rid of scratches. You'll never get rid of them. There'll always be somebody tattooing backdoor, doing crappy tattoos and all that kind of stuff just for a quick buck or just for survival. The thing is, there's so much machines and stuff that are getting sold, Chinese stuff, and people are getting their hands on them where we tried to stop it many years ago, and that's what's happening. These guys get hold of these machines and they tattoo from home, and it just brings the industry down, you know. It's very sad, man.
I'd like to think that, you know, the best artists will persevere and push through when the others will have to find maybe
Well,
different
the
jobs.
best thing, the way I look at it, if you wanna become a good artist, it's got to be in your heart, and you got to learn by somebody that knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Don't go and pick up a machine and start tattooing by yourself
No.
and not knowing what you're doing.
No, you need a mentor.
You need a mentor, and obviously someone that's gonna take you further.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, you're not gonna become an art surgeon.
If you're gonna do it as a trade, you know.
Exactly. And how was the atmosphere like in the conventions, especially abroad when you went to the States and that? How was that atmosphere?
Well, for me it was like a shocker, you know.
Yeah.
Coming from Durban, such a small town, and going to convention and see all this artwork. And I must be honest, it's what I see today. It's like advanced big time to what I saw those days, even in the conventions. You know?
And did it all the traveling? Did it shape you more as an artist or a person?
As an artist and a person, it broadens your mind, you know.
And is there any country or convention that really stood out to you?
Most of the conventions are all like alike, you know. If you go to one convention, you go to another convention, more or less you're going to see the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know.
That's a big thing for me. I've done all the conventions in the UK and all over, and I did kind of find that it's the same bloody entertainment or food stalls or whatever, and
That's right.
You kind of, now I want to do something in Asia, or you know,
something different.
Different people, you know, different vibes, and you know, where you know nobody.
That's right.
And I want to see a different kind of style for a bit, you know.
The European convention is almost the similar type of thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's just everybody's trying to sell their product and their inks and their tattoos and that kind of thing. You know.
And what was it like meeting, you know, other artists from all over the world before social media? Because now everybody's got Instagram and that. But back then, you know, you meet all these artists.
Oh yeah, yeah. You meet the artists. As I said, I met a lot of people. I can't even remember the names anymore. You know.
Now you mentioned Honest Charlie. Now what made him stand out?
Honest Charlie used to work for Singapore John in San Antonio, opposite the Alamar. Okay. So Kevin used to go and work there. So I had the opportunity to go there and meet them. And I met Singapore John. He's passed now. And that's when I met Charlie. Then Charlie broke away from Singapore John and opened his own shop. And him and his son, Richie, ran a shop. And they used to invite us, and we used to go there every year, you know. And it was fun working with Charlie, you know. He's an old school. He's passed on now. I think his son is still alive. Great musician, his son, and a tattoo artist. And I used to stay at their place, you know. And the best part of it, I loved firearms, and Charlie had like weapons like I couldn't believe, you know. He had like 40, 50 assault weapons in his house, man.
Wow.
You know. So he was a collector kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he wasn't supposed to have one firearm because he did time in prison. You know. And I remember the one time I was having a cigarette in his backyard, and I nearly fell into a hole. And I came back inside and I said, "Hey Charlie, man, there's a big hole outside. You know, I nearly fell in it." So he says, "You didn't fall in it, did you?" I said, "No, I didn't fall in it." He said, "Fuck, man." He said, "I've got all my guns stashed in there, you know." Anyway.
And how important were those old school figures in shaping tattooing today?
Well, if it wasn't for them, I don't think it would have shaped up to now, you know. I think it's all the stages, and it's gonna get. Look, it's gone to a point where it's like really tattooing is no more tattooing. It's more of an art form now, you know.
Yeah.
If it's no more of just those old school tattoos.
Yeah.
Although I love old school tattoos, but people don't want just to get a tattoo. They want to get
Yeah.
artwork on the body, you know.
And it's
which
true.
I can agree to that.
Yeah. I must say, for myself as well, I've been tattooing 19 years now, and it is really amazing to see how quickly things are evolving and how good the
Yeah.
people are. Within 2 years, you get these Chinese kids or whoever, they're learning so fast. And it's amazing to see, but it's also kind of sad that, you know, that the old era and that respect and the way of doing things and apprenticeships and stuff is kind of something from the past. Do you think that level of respect still exists today?
I think that people, a lot of, look, the old tattooists that are still around, they can tell you a lot of stories, you know. I think if it wasn't for the guys that started it from those days, they wouldn't go as far as what they have today. In other words, to get this far. Today, I'm like shocked, you know. It's when I look at the artwork of the people that do and the pigments that come out, especially the pigments, they're producing excellent pigments for tattoo artists, you know. So if they're not up to standard, the people aren't moving with the time, they're gonna fall behind, you know.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's people don't realize how lucky they are now just buying the inks ready in a bottle, where you guys had to mix it with powder.
We had to mix all that stuff.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
We used to get powder and mix all that. Nobody will sell us ink, you know.
Now, you and Kevin Brown have been friends since you were 10 years old.
Since
now,
10.
How rare is that bond?
Yeah, no, we were friends since 10. Since I came to the country in South Africa. I was born in Cairo, grew up in Port Sudan, and from Greek family. And my father brought us to South Africa. And Kevin was my first friend at school, you know. I couldn't even speak English, man. And so we stayed in a building on a beachfront there, where half of the young guys were surfers and half of the other guys were like just playing ball, riding bicycles, stealing 50cc's bikes, riding them for the day, you know, that kind of thing. And yeah, stayed friends with all those years. We had our ups and downs, but we're still friends.
Yeah. And what did you learn from each other over the years?
What did I learn or what did Kevin learn?
Both.
Well, I think Kevin learned a lot from me. He must have. No, we respect each other, you know. He's an old friend, and as I said, over 60 years. Yeah, we've gone through thick and thin in the club and when we were out the club.
Now, I worked with you both back in the day. What did you see in me back then?
Well, when I saw you and when you worked there, the first thing I said to you, and I don't know if you can remember, I said, Dean, you got big potentials, you know.
Yeah, I remember you said.
I said, you're gonna go far away. And I was right, because sometimes I can see things from guys that more than other guys can see, you know. I could see that you're gonna go far.
And what advice would you give someone starting out today?
My advice is, what I'd give to someone today, because tattooing is so advanced, is I would tell the person, listen, just do your homework, you know. Learn from the people that know the industry. Don't just go and buy a Chinese machine and start tattooing and buying those Chinese inks and start messing people's body up, you know. That's the advice I'd give them. Yeah, if you want to do an apprenticeship, go for it. But it's got to be in your heart, you know.
Now, when you left the club, what made you step away from that life?
I'll be honest with you. I miss my freedom, you know. I miss my family. I miss my friends that are ex-members. guy called Tommy, Patrick, American guy. I miss those guys, you know, the ex-members, and I miss friends that weren't in the club that are still friends today, you know.
Yeah.
Like you, Jeff Saunders. You know, a lot of guys that weren't in the club, but I'm still friends with them today, and I miss that kind of thing, you know.
And was it difficult adapting to the different pace of life again?
Not really, not really. I always said to, when I was in the club, I always say, hey, be yourself, man, you know. Don't be in a club just because you wear the patch and you feel you're somebody. You can walk out the club and you're still yourself and be yourself without the patch, you know.
And how did your identity change after leaving?
No, my identity doesn't change.
Yeah.
I've got a tattoo on me, on my lower back. It says Semper Idem. It means always the same, you know.
I remember
in the
that.
club or at the club, you know.
Yeah, and you are the same like I met you.
I don't change. It doesn't mean because I wore the patch, I'm somebody different. You know, I give respect to everybody, and that's how we work, you know. People give you respect, you give respect back, and that's the right way to go about it.
And how do you look back on your life now?
I'll do a couple of changes. I would have.
Like what?
I wouldn't have married strippers.
Yeah. The hard work.
Too hard work. I would have kept the friends that I know. I wouldn't have changed that. But yeah, I don't know.
Would you say women made your life really hard, much harder
man.
than it should have been?
Yeah.
Cost you money?
Cost you money, cost you lots, man. You know. But anyway, you learn the hard way. That's the lifestyle you live, you know. You learn by your mistakes, and if you haven't learned, you'll follow them again and again.
Yeah, true. Do you feel proud or conflicted or a bit of both?
I'm just sorry I didn't spend more time with my family, you know. I gave more of a family lifestyle than more to the other things like the club and all this kind of thing and partying and all this kind of nonsense. But I miss the family life, you know, that.
And then what matters to you now that didn't back then?
Well, now I'm free. I can see my family. I go visit them, and that means a lot to me, you know.
And what would you say to a young guy that is drawn to that lifestyle today?
Look, it looks good to people that don't know, you know. But if you want to live a nice, healthy lifestyle, stay out of it. Do an apprenticeship. If you want to be a tattooist, you want to learn art, do it the right way. But don't try to be a gangster or anything like that. If you're a biker, well, fair enough. Join a bike club.
And if you could speak to your younger self, what would you tell him?
Me?
Yeah.
To myself?
To yourself, to your younger self, what would you tell yourself?
I'd say, that's a hard question. I don't know what I'd say. I don't know.
Maybe a few changes you would have made?
I don't know, dude.
Don't matter anyway, you can't go back. So.
You can't go back. You can't go back, yeah.
Finally, is there anything that you want to mention today that we haven't touched on?
Well, I'm glad that I'm in Europe at the moment. Look, there's a lot of good people I still want to see and visit, you know, ex-members and all around the world. Yeah, I'm just having fun and enjoying life, man. That's about it.
Nice. Lux, my brother, thank you for being on the Dean Taylor
thank you.
podcast.
And I hope everybody takes my advice, you know.
Yeah, it's a pleasure as always to have you on.
Brother.
I wish you all the best. And
love you stacks, man.
Love you stacks, brother. Thank you.
And I forgot to mention one thing. The guys that I miss the most, am I still on this?
Yeah.
I miss guys in Joburg like Rocky Weinstein, good brother of mine, Mitsuma Tyson, who's passed on, and Lionel Hunter, I miss those guys. That's about it.
Well, hopefully you can see them again, you know.
Well, they two have passed. Rocky's still alive.
Yeah.
Thank God for that, you know. A good man. He's got a gym. He trains people. And
Yeah.
he was in a club with me, and solid guy. That's it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks.